Welcome to the Boxing Life podcast with me, Tony Jeffries, and today it's just me and Kev. Kev, how's it going?
It's good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Life is good. The sun's back out in California. We've had a bit of rain, and now it's back out, so, I mean, can't complain.
Cannot complain. Makes me very happy. It's good.
Back in the shorts and T-shirts. So, today's episode is on business, the fitness business, and we want to give everyone who's listening or watching, if you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook Live, some advice and some tips and hints about how we've had our success through business. And we've been going now for just over 5 years, I think.
6 years if you include the bluffs, yeah. 6
years.
years.
No, it's 5 years, I think. 5 or 6 years, anyway. 5 or 6 years. See, we don't even know.
6 years in the business.
And you know, I was thinking about this podcast just early on, about what we're going to see, and writing a few notes down, and I didn't know which way this is going to go, because sometimes when I think about it, I get emotional, you know, because it's been like a bit of a roller coaster, but like just from where we're from to where we are right now, it has been. Would you say emotional?
I think that's a good way to put it. Emotional, yeah. It's been a fun ride, and you know, I think for us, it's always humbling and inspiring to take a look and take a step back and take a look at where we are. You know, we get so caught up in the hustle bustle of every day. A lot of times, I think we forget to take a step back and look at how far we've come and where we've gone. So yeah, when you do that, when you are able to do those things, then yes, it becomes a very emotional thing. Like
a lot's like changed, not just in the gym and our personal lives as well. Yeah. Like a lot's. We're kind of like brothers. Like Kev's like my American brother. We argue like man and wife sometimes, even though, you know. But it's going well.
We are married. I don't know how Sarah feels about it.
And I remember when we first met in a gym. So I was retiring from boxing, and Kev was managing a boxing program in another gym, and I went in there, and Kev was working his arse off, and like there was a lot of trainers there, and Kev was running the program. He just had his shit on like lockdown. I was like, well, this guy's cool as fuck. And then from there, you start giving me clients, and a trainer who had no really experience on never really knew anyone, and all you knew about me really, I was a former boxer.
Correct.
And all I knew about you was you were a personal trainer, so we never knew much about each other. Kentucky boy. And then you start giving me clients, which I was like, wow, why is he doing this? And it's just because you're like a real nice person. And I think that was like the start of our relationship, when you start giving me money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'd say, I saw that you cared, like similar to the way I cared. And, you know, in that gym in particular, that it was a kind of a hard thing to come by, and so knowing when you came in there that you really cared about what you're about to be doing, I was excited to see that, and it was a very welcoming thing for me.
Yeah, so. And so in the fitness industry, like you think like all personal trainers were passionate, but I would say there's a very small percentage of the trainers that were passionate, and that showed in that job that we were at. Like there wasn't really many who were passionate about helping people and about fitness. And that's, I can't think why we got on so well. So after we left that gym for a few reasons, which was the best thing ever, we went down to Santa Monica Bluffs, and we started doing boot camps for donations only. And rather than charge people, why did we do donations only? Can you remember?
Well, I think we just wanted to see, if we had something good, and if people would come. You know, I think we were just, again, being humble and understanding that what we were doing was something new, and we were on the bluffs, and we didn't have a gym, we didn't necessarily have a space, even though training on the bluffs was a pretty unique experience. You know, we just wanted to make sure that people were enjoying it, and that, you know, we had something good. And
we did, and people loved it, and they come, and so we weren't making much money at all, right? But we were obviously making enough just to survive, bare minimum to survive. And then the boot camp got busier and busier. Then we opened our first location where we are right now. This is Box and Burn Santa Monica. You obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can't see the full gym, but there's pictures everywhere of it. And this was an empty warehouse. It was nothing in apart from me, Kev, a few med balls. We had some mitts.
Some roaches and mice. And
yeah, some insects. And then And then from working hard, then we start charging when people come in, and then working hard and working our asses off. And I've said the story before, when we were in here till like 10, 11 p.m, Kev was washing this full floor with a big sweeping brush and water. I was in the bathroom, hands and knees, scrubbing the bathroom floor. But we didn't care, because we loved it. And when you're opening your own business, that's the sort of stuff you've got to do, right?
That's your baby. It is your baby.
So you really want to just work and do it and love doing it, especially when it's your own. And then from there, we grew everything. We step back. So we invested money into the location. It was like $25,000. Was paid for them first month's rent. Paid for some mirrors and insurance and a few other little things. But if you're opening a gym, $25,000 is not a lot.
It's not,
right?
Not. I think we're very fortunate for that. And I know a lot of gyms, most gyms start out and spend so much money just to get the space up to par and looking good and getting all the equipment in. Whereas we didn't have to do that. We kind of we started with what we had, and we reinvested the money as we made it, and that was so beneficial to us.
Right? Yeah, you've just hit the nail on the head there. People open gyms and they think, they look at prices for things. We need a treadmill. Well, a treadmill's $4,000. Oh, we need a Stairmaster. What? $8,000. Oh, we need No. You need you working hard, your product. I mean, we were talking boxing here, but even if it's a other gym, you can get. Before we even had the gym, we were down the bluffs.
Yeah.
I bought a kettlebell, a jump rope,
a few med balls, and a few kettlebells and dumbbells.
We didn't need much, and that's all we did when we moved in here. So if you open a gym, you do not need all of this fancy stuff. Yeah, it's nice, but you don't need it. Yeah.
No, I think the people, especially in this industry or any service industry, I mean, sure, it helps to have nice, aesthetically pleasing, facilities, but in reality, what makes the place is the people inside of it and the people that are providing that service. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Yeah,
and then totally, it comes down to people, and people. They're not buying a treadmill. They're buying the person who's going to teach them and the results that they get. So if you've got your shit down and you're doing it correctly, they're going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the question, would you recommend a personal trainer who's working at over the gym or working down the bluffs to open his own location?
Well, I think it really depends on the person. I think we were talking about this a few minutes ago. I know both of us, even as children from a young age, I mean, I'm talking like 5, 6 years old. I know you've told me stories, but I was always wanting to sell. I was always trying to make some money. Whether it was selling lemonade or out on the street or making my own lawnmower business. I think I made little flyers. I was John Deere boy in the neighborhood. That was my name. That was my business.
Selling lemonade.
So
selling lemonade, right, let's talk about this for a second, because I see in all these American films and movies that the kids are always selling lemonade.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. What's that about? Like,
well,
how do you make lemonade?
There's a big profit margin there. How much does it make to make a cup of lemonade? Like,
I've got no idea.
Like 2 or 3 cents maybe. You can sell it for a quarter. There you go. That's a big markup right there. I would just go out in our front yard. My mom and I would make a bunch of lemonade or take sodas out there, and people driving by would stop and get some money. And I had a little piggy bank. I always wanted to add to it. I always wanted to save money, and I knew, I always wanted to buy things, but my parents, taught me from a young age, if you want something, you got to earn it, and you got to make the money, and you can have it. So. That was always in the back of my head, and even from, like I said, like the age of 4 and 5, 6, whether it was doing that or doing chores for my parents at the house, they'd give me a week's allowance, whether it was $8, $10. I was always trying to add to that list. Well, how can I get another $1? How can I get another $2? So, for me personally, and I think for you, I know you said you were hustling candy in grade school.
Yeah, I mean when I was pushing 11 years old, I was selling sweet candy, and I got to the point where I was making £70 a week, which is $100 a week, which is like for an 11, 12-year-old kid was great. And I got to the point where the teachers were like, no, you can't do that anymore. Yeah. Then I went from selling sweets to selling fags, cigarettes. Fags. We call them fags. So I was selling cigarettes, and I was making a lot more money. In school, it was like 20 pence, like about, 15 cents a cigarette. Yeah. And I made good money doing that as well. But that was illegal, and I got suspended from school. And
I might have sold a few illegal things in my day or two.
And then from there, I went up to fake clothes, to VHS videotapes. I'd be knocking on doors. I'd be selling them. I would be non-stop. And then training for the Olympics, I bought a catering trailer, burger van from eBay. It was £5,000, which I don't know in dollars. And then I was doing that every weekend. I mean, can you me flipping burger? I
love it though. You know, there was on my little highway near my home. I remember there was a hot dog stand out there for sale, and I wanted to buy it so bad, but I didn't have the money. I never could, so I'm quite jealous of that. But but I think, I mean, go back to your question. I think entrepreneurship and business ownership for us was kind of in our blood and kind of always has been.
Right.
So if you're that kind of a person, if you are a trainer and you are really more so into the business side of it, then yeah, for sure, go for it. Why not? You know, there's so many different opportunities out there, and there's, you know, especially now where the fitness industry is, I think, you know, with these smaller boutique gyms, if you have a niche that can really, you know, be successful and you think you got a great idea, then go for it.
Yeah.
But again, it's not for everybody. It's if you're a personal trainer and you just like the 9-to-5 grind of having 5 or 6 clients and teaching a few classes a day, and that's what makes you happy, then there's nothing wrong with that. Keep doing that. But understand, if you want to go into owning and opening a gym, it's not a 9-to-5. It's a 6 or 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. You can't get away from your phone. You can't get away from your computer. There's no getting away from your emails. Especially initially, you have to grind it out. So again, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and I would say, kind of like what you said, if you want to do it, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Don't not do it and then 10 years time regret not doing it.
Right.
Because I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. There's a survey that asked people who was on the dying bed the things, what they wished they'd done in life, and it wasn't the things that they wished they'd done. It was the things that they wish. It wasn't the things that they'd done. It was the things that they'd never done that they regret.
Yeah.
You know. So if you want to do it, do it. But like realize, wow, it's not like it's. I'm shocked even now. 5 years into it, I can't believe the things that we actually doing. Like, you would just think it was, all right, rent a place, 10 grand a month or whatever it might be, get clients in, post on Facebook, they're going to come and say, all right, teach a class, pay your money, see you later. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what people think.
Sure. And I think coming back to being humbled, you know, it's, if you want to open a business and you think the business is just going to come to you and that it's just going to be an easy thing, and then chances are you're probably not going to be successful. You got to work hard, and like you say, and I know you've talked about this story before. You have to earn your luck. You know, luck doesn't just come to those who kind of sit back and hope it comes. You know, it's those prayers aren't answered. You have to work hard. You have to get after it on a daily basis in order to earn that luck and to earn your breaks. So
now let's say you've decided to open your own fitness industry or business. Do you need a business partner?
Well, it depends. I mean, it certainly helps, especially in our scenario where we, you know, our assets balance each other out so well. I think that was a hugely beneficial thing. You know, I don't think either one of us could have done this without the other. You know, I think definitely. That's very much a big part of it. But if you are an owner and you have the means, or you want to open a gym and you have the means to do it on your own, and you have people that you can hire contractually and make agreements with, and you know, maybe not, but definitely in our case, I think it was such a big advantage that we had. You know, just because we balanced each other out so well, and you know, our assets. What we have together as a team, I think, is so big. Yeah, even though we are very, very different in our ways and our methods, but they rub off each other, and it works. It really does. I think it's do you need a business partner? I wouldn't say you do. It depends what you're going to do, right? Yeah. It depends what you're going to do and what. But I tell you what, bloody hell, it helps. It bloody helps, mate. If I never had Kev and I had to make these decisions on my own, it's like a weight off my shoulders when I'm like, what should we do here? I text Kev, what do you think? And he says, all right, yeah, we'll do that then. You know? But it's two different, I mean, two heads is better than one, you know? Just about all. And think about it too as well with your kids. I mean, if you had to raise your girls on your own versus now you do have Sarah. You've got that partner. I think that and partnerships are tough. They say, you know, they teach you this in business school. Like over 90% of all partnerships fail. You know, because partnerships are so tough. It's just like it is a marriage. You know, so you have to be sure that you have the right person, and you have to be able to communicate and talk through things. And there are going to be disputes. There are going to be fights. There's going to be.
How do you know I'm the right person?
I just see it in your eyes, man.
Great answer. Great answer. So another thing, what we kind of spoke about before, like I've got an ear, do you need sleep? And me and Glenn kind of went back and forth before. Like when we were working, like you've got to make so many sacrifices. I think the biggest thing you sacrifice is time. You've got to put all your time and all your energy into your facility. You can't be messing around on 2 or 3 days a week thinking, oh, no, I'm a business owner. I can do what I want. I work for. No, you've got to be in here. You've got to be grafting. You've got to be grinding. It's hard. It's not easy. And like I said before, there's so many different things to owning a gym.
Yeah.
I can't even list them all off. There's that many. It's like, so people be thinking, oh, and what? Oh, wait, give us some.
What was your question?
I mean, what different things is there to
do? Yeah,
there's so many.
Well, the toughest is just, I think, people management, staff management. That's probably the hardest. You've got to market. You got to do your financials and accounting. You got to be on top of that, understand it, aware of it. You've got to know how to do community outreach and be present in your community. I think that's a big thing. You've got to know how to adjust and move with the times, and you know, you can't just say, okay, we've got something, we're going to stick with it. Very rarely does that work. Right. You always have to know how to adjust. You have to be flexible, and you have to be able to make decisions on the fly. I mean, you've got to be able to mentor with some trainers. You got to be able to fire. You got to know how to say no. You got to know how to be brutally honest with people. How to communicate. You got to know how to accept failure. I mean, there's so many things, and you know, neither one of us were experts on any of that stuff coming in, but we were humble, and we just learned from our mistakes, and we learned as we went.
And even all of that stuff that he's just said there, it's loads, and you could break that down into individually. You could break that down into like 10 things for each one of them. He never even mentioned how you got to get people in the door, right? Because if you're not getting anyone in the door, you're not making anything, and your gym's going to close down. So that's another thing what takes so much time and energy and methods to do that. Yeah, right.
It is, especially as you get bigger. You know, for us, I know it from the beginning, that organic growth and that word of mouth was so big for us. Right. Our biggest efforts were in providing a unique and incredible experience that nobody else is going to find at any other gym. By doing that, you know, and we took care of our people. There's a quote from a book that I read, you know, you take care of your people and the rest will take care of itself. Right. Because we provided such a good service, and we really went above and beyond taking care of our people, not just our employees, but our members and our client base, that they were more than happy to go out and to bring their friends and their people in, because they wanted them to have that experience as well.
Yeah. And another thing, like what we've, like staff is everything. I think one problem that I was having was I was expecting to get passion out of staff the way me and Kev's passionate, and it's so hard to get that, and you've got to really accept that no one's going to give your business a 10 out of 10 like we give it. Right. No one. If you can get a 9, amazing. We've got a couple of them. 8's fantastic. If you can get someone who's given 7 out of 10, you're doing well. I mean, below that, it's like go somewhere else. But like, I think most people would be like in their jobs. People don't like the jobs. And we tell all the trainers all the time, and all the staff all the time, if you do not want to be here, we'll love you, but please leave, because that's the big thing with the Box and Burn business is we want everyone to enjoy it, everyone to enjoy being here. And we've got like Kerry and Glenn and Stephen and Shia. I mean, there's so many lists. If I start listing them now, I'm going to miss someone, so I'm not going to, so ignore this. But
hold on, let's pull up all the names.
I mean, we've got like 20-year trainers here now, and we tell them all the time, love it, and you'll enjoy your life more, because if you don't love what you're doing, it's like I say, it's time to do something else, right?
Sure, yeah.
And
are you? And that's, I mean, you got to clear that up too. And are you going to love every single day? Is every single minute of every hour going to be great? No, but at the end of the day, do the positives outweigh the negatives? And are you happy? Are you content when you go home? Are you, feel like you're satisfied and fulfilled? I think that's such a big thing.
I love it that much, right? And like I said, we give it a tens. It was my birthday last week, and my wife took us to a spa and all that, and she was like, all right, you can do anything you want. We're back at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Anything you want, Tony, anything you want, we'll do it. Honestly, I can do anything I want. I want to go to work. Really? You can have your day off, you can switch on. No, I'm dying to turn my phone on. I'm dying to get back to work. And she's like, all right. But she understands what I'm like. And I come out of work and I was so happy. I love being here all the time. And I mean, like I say, if you open your own business, that's the sort of mentality that I think you need to have. You want to be there and you want to be progressing all the time. Mm-hmm. So coming down to hiring people, that's massive. You've got to hire the right people, which is another massive task in itself. We've interviewed hundreds of people, right? Mm-hmm. Like definitely over 100 people in the last year. Yeah. And we learn on that. That's a process in itself as well.
It is a skill, and it takes practice, and it takes patience, and you don't always make the right decision. But how do you handle that is I think what is the more important thing. But it is very difficult. It is a skill that unless you at some point in your career were a supervisor or manager somewhere else, you probably have no experience. Which neither one of us really had that. So. It's been again, I keep saying the word humbling experience, but it really has been. But again, you just got to know how to learn from your mistakes and understand, what things to look for, and more than anything, how to really read a person. And does the person necessarily have to be the best trainer from day one? No, but what do we look for? We look for more passion and I think integrity and commitment to getting better and always furthering their education, as well as just pride in their work. I think that's the biggest thing for us.
Another method that we've just started to do, because like Kev said, we're learning all the time, is make every trainer or desk girl or anyone who we hire before they even start is to come and do classes. Mm-hmm. We want them to understand what we do here before we even interview them, and I think that's big for us, right?
It's huge, yeah. And I think it makes that person that's applying for the job make that initial step to show that they're committed to wanting to work here. I mean, we get 20, 30 resumes a day now through the different platforms we use, and people are dying to work here. But if we ask you to do something, if we give you some task and you take that initiative to do it, you're going to weed out all the other people that you might waste your time on. And as a business owner, you have to be able to work efficiently and effectively. And by bringing in 30 different people without them taking some sort of initiative to interview them, is just a waste of time. So by making them take that initial step, that helps us a lot. I think it's been very beneficial.
So that's a great tip for everyone. And as well, use them. What we do as well, we tell them, when you're in the class, we want you to see if you spot anything that we can change to make better, and tell us that in the interview. Mm-hmm. And now what we've got spies, or if you like, or people who's going to do some extra work for us so we can get some feedback. Yep. And then they come in, and like he's just said there, you don't want to be sitting there all day interviewing people, which we've done. We've interviewed like 14, 15 people in one day before, and it's a long bloody day. It's exhausting. We hired Emma, our admin girl, one time. She came in. We had 10 interviews that day. She was the first one that came in, and she was amazing. One of the best interviews we've ever had. And then we had like another 10 interviews after her, so we're sitting there all day like, oh no,
it's kind of like, is this almost over yet? Can we cancel these?
Because we knew straight away that she was the one. So I mean,
the other thing also before, I think a big thing for us, and when we're kind of sifting through resumes, send a cover letter. If you're looking for a job, send a cover letter and show that you know something about the business and that you care and to take that step. Because if you don't, unless someone's just literally hiring someone to work behind the scenes doing just the worst tasks imaginable, send a cover letter and show that the owners or the person that you're going to be interviewing with really cares.
Yeah, and then when you go to the interview, make sure you know about the business.
Exactly.
Because we've had people in there, what do you know about the business? Like, not much.
Well, I looked at your Twitter and I saw that you had Conor.
I seen Conor McGregor was in it. And I mean, a huge thing is opening your own business. You got, like we've just said, you got to work hard. You got to be nice to everyone. Is the customer always right? What would you say there, Kev? Because I mean, we've got different.
It will for the customers watching, yes, but if you're not watching, then no, it's tough. It's very tough. I think customer service is absolutely one of the most challenging and difficult things, because especially in a business like ours, where we are the owners and we have a personal relationship with everybody that walks into the door. You don't want to get in those little disputes and arguments with those people, because those are the people that are out there spreading the word and telling the community about your gym or your facility, your business, and so no, you don't want to get in those disputes. So at the end of the day, for the most part, you got to give the customers the benefit of the doubt and let them kind of win the battles, or find subtle ways to. I don't know how revealing we want to be here.
I think this is one of my strong points. And Kev, I mean, he deals more with the email side of things, and he sees it on emails, and it gets more frustrating for him than when I see people in person and all that. I'd believe I mean, the customer's always right to a certain extent, where we want them to be happy. Yeah. And we fair with everyone. So that's the thing. If you're fair with everyone, unless they start trying to take the piss, which I mean we've had occasionally, you're not going to get that many complaints, which we don't. Yeah. Which we're lucky we don't.
Exactly.
And another thing, what we tell our trainers is to keep educating yourself, keep getting better at being a trainer. We don't tell. We do it each other ourselves. We always go into different seminars to listen to people speak and things like that, and that's really helped us as well as businessmen, as gym owners. I really recommend that highly if you can find somewhere to go where they're talking about that thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can, whatever it is you do, whatever business you have or whatever occupation you're in, you can never stop learning. And the second you stop learning is kind of the second you kind of start to go downhill. Yeah. And again, about customer service reminds me of a quote that I was reading, because customer service was such a tough thing for me, because we as business owners take such high pride in what we do and the business that we have, that when someone has a complaint, it's hard for me to hear almost, and I almost take it to heart a little too much, rather than maybe just saying, okay, what can we do better here? How can we make things better? And that's where I had to really adjust my attitude and adjust the way I thought about it. But again, take care of your people, and the rest will take care of itself. And that I think is applicable to customer service more than anything. Yeah, definitely. And learn names, learn the customers' names and things like that, and give them the attention, giving them your time. Time's the most valuable thing in the world. If you're giving someone your time, they're going to respect that, and they're going to enjoy you and your facility even better. Yeah. So we're going to go to the questions. We've got some questions on Facebook. Can you see that? So we've got a question here of Ricky. How do you guys develop pricing? Is it about location? Right. Sure. Location's part of it. I mean, we are in Santa Monica, and the real estate pricing here has just skyrocketed. They call it Silicon Beach now. Yeah. Let me read this. But yeah, I mean, location is definitely part of it. But what's the value in your service, and you have to have an understanding of the industries and your competitors, and what do they charge, and where do you rate among them as far as the service that you provide? Is it better? Is it on par or whatever? And that's a big telltale sign, I think, of what you can sell, or what you can sell things for as far as pricing goes. We kind of come into the business that wasn't our number one concern. Making money wasn't our number one concern. Making enough money to pay the bills and to keep the doors open. Yeah. Keep the doors open. Yeah. Not even to be comfortable, because we were doing that on our private training. Right. So we just wanted people there and wanted people to get a good service, which they are. And it's worked. And another question here about how do you deal with no-shows? So this no-shows, if now our classes are that busy, where we were getting wait lists for every class. We used to not, if someone never showed up, we just not be bothered about it. But now we've got to really charge them, because that's a space that we could be selling to someone else. Yeah, it's money lost. And I think that was a really difficult decision for us, because we don't want again, to upset members and be more of a nuisance for them. At the end of the day, this should be a happy place and a good place for them to come and to kind of get some release and to feel good and to walk out of here feeling better than they did when they left. But, you know, you don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouths. But when you explain the scenario to them and people understand and see the demand and they see the services that they're getting and they understand that, you know, this gym or, you know, these classes or, you know, these trainers that you're getting here really are world class and you're not going to find this experience anywhere else, then they really do understand it.
Yeah, definitely. Another question here. What about competition? What do you think about your competition? So I'll start with this one. So I used to be one who hated competition. I used to think, bastards, trying to take me business. But now, after listening to different podcasts and educating myself even more, now I love it, because what happens is in our area, we've got like 4 or 5 boxing classes or gyms around. Mm-hmm. The way I think about it is now, so these people are introducing boxing. These competition are introducing people to boxing, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And we're the best at boxing. So what's going to happen? Our client, the clients they're introducing to it, are going to go to them. They're going to enjoy it because boxing is a great workout. But then they're going to get sick of it because the gym's not going to be as consistent as our place. Mm-hmm. And then what's going to happen? The clients are going to look for another boxing gym and they're going to find ours, or boxing fitness gym. So it's all breeding new clients for us, and their marketing, what they're putting in their marketing, it's helping us. Sure. But as well, there's enough people around the world or around where we are,
especially in LA,
to have every single gym packed. So I really don't concentrate on what other people are doing. Yeah. But concentrate on what we're doing, how we can improve, how we can make it better for the clients. I think that's huge for us.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is the focus. I mean, you have to be aware of what's going on outside of your doors and what other people are doing. But the biggest thing of that, aside from what you've already mentioned, is about spreading awareness of boxing. Because we really were at the cusp, like the very beginning of that, where boxing fitness really blew up. We were the first ones to do it, and it's, you know, people have noticed that and recognized that nationally. Even, you know, it's in men's fitness. It's in what was the other one? I mean, people recognize us for that as you know, kind of the trendsetters. But outside of that, competition keeps you accountable and it keeps you on your toes, and it holds you accountable to always making sure that you're not just content and that you're always improving and always making things better and always striving to make the best experience possible for your customers.
Yeah. So we got another question here of our friend Seth Gibson. Seth, hope you're enjoying this, mate. What would you see as the
biggest...
biggest...
Did we ever tell Seth he kind of looks like Ron Jeremy? I don't know.
I didn't. You've just told him.
I love it, man. I love it, man. You're a legend, actually. I love it.
What would be the biggest What would you see... Kev, you're a better reader than me. Read that, mate.
What would you say is the biggest setback or setbacks you guys have had to deal with, and what are the best ways to avoid it, or at least manage them if and when they happen? So biggest setback.
Setback. I think we've had a few. I mean, we had the setback where we were about to get closed down because we never had a business license. That was huge for us. Mm-hmm. But we worked on that and we networked and we found the best people, because we opened the gym without the correct business license and they wanted to shut us down because other gyms around the area seen our success and they weren't happy. So rather than just let us be, they start complaining to the city, all that. We call them grasses. We call them grasses where we're from. They're called snitches in America. Yeah. So anyway, so we managed to get through that, and that was could have been a big setback. But other setbacks for me would have been when I don't know, Kev thinks differently on this, is where we've had trainers who we've put so much time into, so much energy into, and helped them develop into trainers. They weren't even trainers to start, and then they leave and they go and work somewhere else at another gym, or they go and do their own thing, or whatever. That kind of a kick in the balls to me. But like we said at the beginning of this podcast, if you need to go and open your own gym because you need it for your own mind, and then, go and do it. Respect for you for that.
Yeah. Well, and we'll touch on this, I think, later, or next week's podcast. I think we're going to talk a bit about it. But if you have a facility where people are able to come here and kind of breed and develop into people that are able to go and open their own business, I think that's a testament to you as a business owner,
right?
As a platform for a business, because, again, you're breeding the best competition. The best trainers out there, and if they eventually become competition, that's fine. Again, that just keeps you accountable and keeps you on your toes and makes sure that you're always striving to be better. But where we were dealing with the city a bit on a business license ordeal, and that was a nightmare for us. We were losing sleep, we were losing patience, and I think the biggest thing for that is just to remain calm and understand that things are going to work out. If you're freaking out and you're kind of always, you're kind of all over the place and you look stressed and you look like things are going wrong. And I've had my issues with that in the past. It's a matter of just staying calm and keeping a smile on your face and kind of waging through it, putting one foot in front of the other, and knowing at the end of the day what you have is something special and it's always going to be that, and nobody can take that away from you, even if they're trying to shut your doors. And we knew we were going to get through it, and we were going to survive, and we did. So I think staying calm is a big thing, and confident, because if you allow the stress and the little things that are just kind of eating away with you and keeping you from getting sleep to really show, then your staff notices. Your trainers notice, and then it starts to wear on them. So being able to remain calm and confident through those processes, even in the hard times, is such a big thing. The other biggest, I think, probably problem we had was growing too fast. And that was a really tough thing. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have, but it's difficult, The
best problem to have.
Yeah, it's a very good problem to have. But when you grow so fast, all of a sudden you go from having 5 or 6 trainers to needing to have 16 or 17 trainers. That's the tough thing, because finding quality trainers and trainers that are very much in line with your goals is a tough thing to find. And so that was a huge thing for us. And again, just learning from our mistakes, staying calm, staying confident, understanding that we're going to get through it. I think that was the biggest thing for us on that.
I think a big tip is, as well, for people, is to be patient with everything. Like, that was one of my biggest mistakes, wanting to rush and wanting to open that second location within 18 months of this one. Be patient with everything, with your clients, with the complaints that come in, with the growth of your business, with the growth of your social media. I think right now, because this day and age, we can get everything instant. You can get a taxi, you can come and pick it up. You can get food delivered. You can watch movies instantly. You can do everything. You can get porn instantly. That's what Kev told me. You can do everything at a click of a fingers. So people want a business to be booming instantly. Yeah. It's not. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes hard work. So just be patient. And if your product's good, which I'm sure it will be, you listen to this podcast, you want to grow as a trainer, you obviously want to get something from it. I think that would be one of the biggest things for me, is to take your time with it and grow.
Yeah, I agree. Patience is everything.
Patience is everything. So, anything else, Kev?
Let's see. Let me look at my notes.
Any questions on this? If you've got any questions on the Facebook, you can please fire away. We can answer the questions.
I think a big thing for me, and I was always reading about this, is because it's hard for me. I want to be a nice person. I want to try to help everybody I can. But as a business owner, you have to know how to say no. And that was a big lesson for me, and something that I'm still working on. But you have to know how to say no. You can't be a yes man on everything, because you only have so much time in a day, and especially us as males, we can't multitask so much. We have to be able to dial in and focus on those 2 or 3 things that we're trying to get done. So if you've got 10 different people coming at you at all times of the day asking you for things, you have to know how to say no, or at least delay it and say, okay, if it's a staff problem or your trainer has an issue, you say, okay, I understand and I respect that. Let's talk about this and give a day and time that'd be a better time to deal with it. Because if you're always trying to say yes and always trying to please everybody at every second of every day, it's going to be a really difficult thing. I think that's a huge thing for me.
Keith Wilson told us as well, which I think was a great piece of advice. Keith is a Box and Burn certified trainer.
Keith.
He's, how old's Keith?
He's a legend. 64, do you say? I think
he's very experienced. Anyway, he told us, like, if you've got to get rid of the baggage, basically. Yeah. If you've got someone there who's not pulling the weight and you've got to fire them, it doesn't matter if you love them or what, get rid of them, because they're just going to breed more hate or more negativity around your other staff. You just need to let them go. And I feel like we've learned a lot from that, and a lot ourselves from over time about the trainers that we have had to let go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been big for us. And then once we've let these trainers go, we've seen a big step up in the other trainers.
Yeah, well, you invest so much time and energy and resources into somebody, and you generally care about them as a person. You really do. They are your friends, and you know you have this emotional relationship with them because they were with you through the grind of a lot of this stuff. It's so hard to say, okay, I'm sorry this isn't working. You want to give them every chance that you possibly can, but at the end of the day, you have to understand and make the decision that is best for the business long term.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to the Boxing Life podcast. This is a weekly podcast, if you did not know. So if you subscribe, listen to us on iTunes, subscribe, you get a notification once a week, or you can subscribe on the Box and Burn YouTube channel and see our pretty faces on there too. Until next time, I am Tony Jeffries. This is Kevan Watson.
Thanks for listening,
guys. See you later.